Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman vs. Hush 2-pack. Thank you for watching this video or any of my other videos that you may have run across, which I hope is all of them. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or just help the channel out further, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. And with all that said, let's get into it. Let's get things rolling by taking a look at the packaging. On the top, nothing but a bit of the window and a border around it, and some tape, I guess. On the front, more border, 12 and up. Nice big window showcasing the figures and accessories. And then DC Multiverse Batman vs. Hush. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print. That number, a barcode, symbols I'm not going to learn. DC print, WB print, Made in China print, and some other print. On this side, DC Multiverse Batman vs. Hush. McFarlane Toys Squishy Spawn Face. And on this side, McFarlane Toys Squishy Spawn Face. And another bit of the window and some more border. DC Multiverse here at the top. And Batman vs. Hush. On the back, nice product shots of the prototypes. Lost it there for a minute. Again, it says Batman vs. Hush, DC Multiverse. Here is the stand. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, hashtag McFarlane Toys, McFarlane Toys, Squishy Spawn Face, blah, 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 blah. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and the accessories. And handy dandy tweezers. And let's start with the smallest accessories. And there's two of these batarangs, and they're exactly the same. Nice silver paint app on them, it appears. Pretty sure that's a paint app. And very shiny. And again, there's two of them. And they're the same. Then we have the shovel, which I'm gonna guess is molded in this brown wood color. And then the silver for the blade, or spade, whatever. This piece, the metal piece, with the silver paint app. And you can see where it bleeds over just a little bit there. There's also some dirt detail there, but unfortunately it's also been painted silver. So a little bit of paint apps here on this dirt or mud would have been nice. And then if you don't want to use the display base, it also comes with two of these standard McFarlane DC Multiverse stands, which are both exactly the same. It also comes with the cards that are shots of the prototype figure. So if there's a difference between what's on the card and the figure, that's the reason why. Hush Batman. And here is the data file. And if you want to pause it so that you can read that, there it is. I'm not going to read it all out. And same thing with the Batman card here. It's a nice product shot of the prototype Batman from Batman Hush. And then here's his data file. And again, if you want to read all that, you can pause it. And then here we have part of the display base, which is Jason Todd's headstone. Here lies Jason Todd. And it's broken right there. And I'll say it has some nice bits to it. And this piece and this piece has a little bit of a wash on it to add the details. And there's a little bit of a wash just to kind of give it a weathered feeling also. And here is the display base. Lots of nice molded details in there. Maybe a splash of paint wash here and there. And then of course this just goes in the slot right here. And you can see it's got two little tabs on it on the front and the back, and there's, you know, where it clips in there. So let's see if I can do that real quick. Oh, might need some off the camera ability here. And there we go, fits in there nicely. Doesn't pop though. You think you put it in, those tabs catch, it would pop, but it doesn't. I will say one thing about this display base though. This piece is, you know, it feels pretty solid. I mean, it's not solid all the way through, obviously. It doesn't, at least it doesn't feel that way. But this piece feels really thin, and I think over time it's probably gonna get brittle. I mean, you can say that about a lot of stuff, but this just has a really cheapy feel to it, in my opinion. Your opinion, of course, may vary. Let's take a look at Hush. Nice screaming face. He's got wide eyes, so no side eye. So that's good. And you know, his trench coat is a soft plastic or rubber overlay, and it's pretty flexible for the most part. Now, is it still going to get in the way of articulation? Yeah, it is. Nice paint amps, and it seems most of this is just molded in color, which makes sense. Because, you know, you're not going to see whatever detail is up under the coat, you're really not going to see unless you cut it off of him. And then his arms aren't going to match the rest of him. So let's take a look at his articulation. He looks up that far. If you jut the dumbbell forward with the head, he can look down that far. So that means he can probably chicken neck. Nope, not really. He does have some waggle in there though. And he can do the full Exorcist. At the shoulder, full 360 degree rotation. It comes up just under 90 degrees, it looks like. Cut here at the upper bicep for a full 360 degree rotation. Double hinged pinned elbow. I almost said knee, but it's not a knee, it's an elbow. And it gives you a really good range of motion on that bend. Excuse me. And of course he's got a punchy hand there. At the wrist, it will do a full 360 degree rotation, and it's on that McFarlane Toys ball hinge, so you can adjust it to be up and down or in and out, which whatever you might need. And it's same on this wrist as It feels like there's a cut here where the upper torso joins the lower torso, and it's hard to see with the trench coat, but he does give a full 360-degree rotation there. As far as the hips go, again, you know, this gets out of the way a little bit, but it does still hinder the articulation. He can give you that much of the splits. And of course, being a McFarlane toy, it does not have a thigh cut. Does it have a little bit of rotation in there? Maybe, but not at the thigh. It's hard to get that to do anything, in my opinion. So, but anyway, with the jacket getting in the way, he can kick forward that far. He can kick back a little further, it looks like. Double hinged pinned knee, which gives you that much bend, which is pretty good. And then at the ankle, that McFarlane Toys ball joint, and it tilts down that far, up that far. It does have a pin in it. It's partially forward facing, but anyway, you can move the like the wrist, you can move that ball joint around and get some extra articulation out of it, like rocker, if you need it. At the toe, gives you about a 90-degree bend. And watch, now he's not going to stand up. I know how to fix that though. We'll take the handy dandy standy and just peg it in, and that ought to help a little bit. There we go. Now let's take a look at the Batman, and it's a pretty classic style Batman. Of course, it's Hush, so he has this great big bat emblem on his chest, but the classic black and grays and yellow belt, of course. And I have to say, the sculpt on this cape, I don't know if it's been used before or not, but I like the sculpt of it. You know, plastic capes do get in the way though, so you know, it is what it is. It is a, you know, it does have some flex to it, so there is that. He's got that nice angry Batman look on his face, and other than that, like I said, very classic black and gray Batman. As far as his articulation goes, he doesn't really look up. He can look down that far, and as you can see, there's no dumbbell up here in the neck where the neck meets the head. It's all one solid piece with, it looks like a ball joint here at the bottom. It does give him waggle like that, no chicken neck, and he will do the full Exorcist. At the shoulder, 360-degree rotation. It does raise up just past 90. It has a slight bit of butterfly in there, and it'll go back that far, and it'll go forward that far. Cut at the upper bicep for another full 360 rotation. Double hinged pinned elbow, and it gives you that much bend. And again, this classic McFarlane ball joints there, and I guess they're not just McFarlane, you know, other companies use them too, but that one's adjusted at in and out, and it does have a full 360 degree rotation, and pretty much the same on this one. Is a cut here where the upper torso meets the lower torso, and that gives him a little bit of hula there, but combined with the waist gives him much more. He will turn a full 360 degrees there, and another, well, I'll say he does. At the waist, he does not seem to spin. There it goes. It didn't want to. But another 360 degree rotation there. And with those two pieces, he can bend back that far. And forward hardly any, which is a little weird. At the hips, he can give you that much of the splits. And of course this, the trunks and utility belt are like a rubber overlay. He kicks forward about that far. Well, that far. Back that far. Nothing at the upper thigh, but you know, it will twist just a little bit. Double hinged pinned knee. Gives you really good bend there. And nothing at the shin. And at the ankle, again, that ball joint. And it gives you tilt down that far at the ankle. Tilt up that far. You can see I already did the toe bend there. And a pin for rocker. It's slightly more forward facing than normal for these guys, McFarlane. And let's go ahead and put Batman on his stand too. And again, it's peg and hole. And there we go. And that, my friends, is me bumping the camera. It's also a look at the figure and the accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And let's start things off with some other DC Multiverse figures. And here we have Batman from the Three Jokers. And as you can see, the Hush Batman seems to be just slightly taller. So I think it's on an older body than this one. So the legs seem to be a bit longer. It just could be the camera because, yeah, no. Even not looking through the camera, the Hush Batman seems to be a little bit more long-legged. And here we have the Three Jokers Batgirl. The Infinite Frontier Robin. And finally, the Three Jokers, the Joker, the Clown, for the last of the McFarlane Toys comparisons. Now, how do they stack up with other lines? Let's take a look from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance. Here we have Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, here we have the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. And from Star Wars The Black Series, we have the Archive Edition of the 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And that, my friends, is our look at comparisons. For final thoughts on the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman vs. Hush from Batman Hush 2-pack, I have to say the figures themselves are okay. I do believe the majority of this Batman mold has been released before. I don't have a lot of other McFarlane Batmans, so, you know, I can't be 100% sure on that, but from pictures I've seen, it does seem to be quite a bit of reuse on there. And of course, there's a lot of reuse on Hush from his single release figure, and you know, that's fine. The accessories, again, you know, Warner Brothers has this taboo of their figures coming with firearms, even though in the media they are quite often portrayed with firearms. I don't remember Hush using a gun. I think he did, but it's been quite a few years since I've read that story, so I don't know about that. But as far as their looks, from what I remember of the comics, the looks are pretty good. Of course, Hush has the trench coat, which does hamper his articulation a bit. And it really hides a lot of details on the figure, because it seems like there's a lot of details going on under that trench coat, but can't really get to them without tearing the trench coat up. And if you do that, then you know, the arms aren't going to match the rest of it, and you just got a whole thing from there. You know, other than no firearms, it does come with appropriate accessories, I believe, especially excuse me, especially considering the display base that comes with it, you know, in the cemetery. So it comes with a shovel and 2 batarangs, and you know, again, like I think that's appropriate. As far as the display stand goes, looks wise, it's fantastic. It has, you know, the base itself has a little bit of paint wash in it, and then we have some paint wash on the headstone to add some weathering and just to make some of the details pop. The headstone is actually the best part of the base. It doesn't feel real cheap like the actual base. The actual base on this thing feels like it's gonna get brittle, it's gonna bust, and it's really thin, in my opinion. Of course, your mileage may vary, but that is just how I see it. Now, as far as the price point on this, you know, $40 is $20 a pop for each figure. If you already have a Batman that is very similar to this one, if not exact, you could just get the single release of Hush and call it a day, unless of course you want the open mouth screaming heads. But I think Hush still comes with that. I think the biggest difference on the Hush is the color of the gloves. I don't have the single release of Hush, and I'm not going to get the single release of Hush. I have this one, and this is all the Hush I need, so to speak. And of course, I didn't have a Hush Batman, so in fact, the only other Batmans that I have, Three Jokers Batman, which I showed in comparisons, and the Dark Knight Returns, which is currently sitting atop his horse, which is why I didn't use him in this video. But anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on these guys. It's an okay pack. You know, the price point is fair. It's $40 retail, which is $20 a figure, which is about what McFarlane's are going for. I think at GameStop now they're going to start going for $25 a piece. because I see a lot of the new ones coming in at $25. And, you know, I was hoping they would kind of stay at that $20 price point. But if you shop around for them, Amazon usually has them right at $20 or under. A lot of times you can find them for less than retail. You just have to look and check and check and check and check. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further, or both. That's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.